Hi, I'm Carolyn Jenkins. I took care of my grandmother when she was fighting lung cancer. Then I took care of my mother when she was fighting bladder cancer. And then I survived breast cancer.
When you were first diagnosed with cancer, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
After I quickly got past, I'm not dying, because we caught it early, and I knew I had, huge survival, 98% or something survival chance. My mind went to my job. It's like I had just started a new job. I was a first-time CEO, and I was now going to have to tell a room full of men that I had breast cancer. And I was worried. I was scared. I was uncomfortable. I'm like, I kept thinking, if you tell someone you broke your foot, they look at your foot. You say, I hurt my arm, they look at your arm. I'm going to tell men I have breast cancer, and they're all immediately going to look at my chest. And that idea made me uncomfortable. And not that they were bad men. It's just human behavior that's what they were going to look. And I kept thinking, well, what do I do? Do I wear a shawl that day? I mean, these things crossed my mind, and thought, well, where do I find mentors? And I looked, well, let me go find someone who's been there, done that. Let me find someone who can give me advice. And I couldn't find anyone fast enough to help give me that advice, which is something here will change in the future for other people. We'll be able to connect mentors, and you'll be able to find people who've been there, done that. But I also had concern for my job. Yes, I had just been hired to be CEO, but nonetheless, they hired me to be CEO, not to fight cancer. I had a job to do, and I was going to need an awful lot of time off work. And I wasn't 100% sure when I told them if I was going to leave with no job. And so that also concerned me, because you're like, cancer's expensive. And my job's a big part of my identity. And that was concerning for me and disarming for me to have to cross that bridge. And yet another thing we want our community to do to help people navigate that, and to say, well, if you were to lose your job, where might there be resources? How can we help you get discounts? How can we help you navigate to not lose your job, as well? There's so much that our community can do for people.
So Carolyn, tell me your why. Why do you dedicate your time and energy to bringing We Are Here to life?
Thank you for asking. And I'm here because I believe I could make a difference. When I was fighting cancer, and I had to search so many different places, I had to look for data. I'm extreme type A, I'm a technical executive, and I struggled to find what I wanted. I struggled to find the stories. And then when I was going through surgery and post-surgery, I kept wondering, how do other people do this? I have had some financial success in my life, and can't retire yet, but at least I could write checks to do things. And I kept thinking, how do other people do this when they can't just buy a chair because it's easier for recovery if you have an electric chair that stands you up, or they can't buy special clothes? I was so appreciative of all my friends who could take off work because they're salaried employees to run my kids, to run me to appointments. And I kept wondering, how does everyone else do this? How would my grandmother have done this? I mean, my grandmother was a maid. She only got paid if she worked. How would she have done this at my age? And so when the opportunity to jump in and help a technology services company solve this problem for other people was presented, it felt like a calling for something I was meant to do.
So here wasn't one of these startups that was started in someone's garage. And maybe help us understand, why is that actually a good thing when it comes to innovating in the cancer space?
I'm stereotyping, but when you hear these stories about things that started in a garage, right? Yes, of course they're dedicated, and there's been a lot of success in that world, but they start out usually tinkering, and they have this brilliant idea, but they hope they can convince the rest of the world it's a brilliant idea, right? We've all heard the Steve Jobs stories and the Michael Dells and Gates, etc. But here, literally already knows there's a problem, and it's a big problem that we can solve. So it's important we're not tinkering in a garage, and that we're going directly to the cancer leaders, cancer specialists, people in the space, impacted by the space, because we don't wonder if there's a problem to solve or if we can convince other people. We know it's there. The question is, how do we engage the most effective way to solve the problem?
Carolyn, we're asking this of everyone on the team, and we'll ask you as well. How will you personally measure the success of We Are Here?
In the future, when someone hears that they have cancer, or someone hears their loved one has cancer, and here is the first place they go. When we're equated to the Yelp, or equated to Amazon, or any type of market like that, where you know you can go there and find what you need. I mean, if you need something, you go buy it on Amazon. When everyone knows you need help with any stage of a cancer journey, if you're the patient, the caregiver, family member, the best friend, you go to here and you find what you need. That's success for me.